I'm just a little late today. I was trying to be on time and well, life gets in the life gets in the way. So I see someone is already there. Someone is watching. Hello, whoever you are. Today's a rainy day here in Kentucky. It's pouring outside. Yesterday was sunny and warm. Today is just horrible. So the weather changed all of a sudden, and now it's all of a sudden it's fall, and it's probably going to get colder. Looking forward. But anyhow, I'm working on a new painting, which I believe I made a post about it. Yes, I did make a post about it. It's called Mary Ola Clocka Coma. It's going to be kind of an ironic painting, and I'm already doing studies for it. You see behind me, right over there. There's a couple of studies, and there, that pink canvas over there, that's where I have the drawing already mapped out. So I'll be working on this painting, I guess, for the following week. Excuse me. And I think it will take a while. There's a lot of detail in this painting, and I want to get it done. I don't know if I'll be in time before December. It's kind of a Christmas, sort of a Christmas painting. Oh, Patrick. Hello, Patrick. Yes, hello to you. I see you also as a fellow free spirit. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. Gosh, today is just such a hectic day and everything is all over the place. And so I got here a little later. But how are you doing? How is it going on in Germany? Finally, fall is catching up to us. So all of a sudden, yesterday was warm and sunny. It was like 17 Celsius out here. Julian Pabon says, hi to you. But I know that back in Moscow, it's already snowing. And I'm just wondering, how is it going on in Germany? Well, I guess, yeah, it's getting cold. Is it snowing already in Germany? How is it going on? We don't have snow yet, and I don't know if we're going to have snow anytime soon, but it's already, today, I woke up and there's a thunderstorm and it just rolled in and now it's pouring and it's cold. Oh my God, 4 degrees only. We have 6 right now, so we're not far off, really. Oh, well, like my friend told me, it's fall. You kind of are supposed to expect things like this. You know, it's gonna get cold eventually. It's gonna start raining eventually, and here we are. So, not a fan of cold, really. Hello, Hyperpow1. Hello, how are you doing? I'm sitting right here by the heater. I have a heater here, and I'm warming my hands, so it's really pleasant, I gotta say. And that's why I'm just wearing a t-shirt and don't have to wear anything warm. Hello, says Maria of Lays. Maria, hello. How are you doing? I'm good. My English is poor. That's fine. I'm not an English speaker. I'm not a native English speaker either. But, you know, so far I can understand you. Maria is good. Wonderful. Where are you guys from? Sasha Gromovoy. Hello from Ukraine. Hello from Ukraine to you. Where am I from? I'm originally from Russia. I'm from Moscow. but currently I'm in Kentucky, United States. Oh, you're from India. How's it going in India? Currently I'm living in the United States, and usually every live stream someone asks me the question, where am I originally from? And every time I say that I'm originally from Moscow, Russia, and then people ask me, why am I even here? Well, I immigrated. So nowadays I'm living in the United States. Namaste. Is that how you pronounce it? Namaste. And to those of you who don't know me, who don't know my channel, I'm a singer-songwriter and I'm a painter. So, of course, I have to invite you to check out my stuff. And if you like my paintings, if you like my music, please subscribe. And, I kind of have to say this. I'm sitting with a live stream here and people are joining who don't even know what do I do. Do you own cats? Yes. I do own cats. Hi, Karen. I'm not Karen. You're mistaking me with someone else. But we also have wonderful autumn colors in the forest, especially near my home castle. You have a home castle, really. Hello, everyone in the world, here with a truly amazing artist. Thank you very much, Patrick. Thank you. A cat owner, shocking. You're shocked, really. Namaste means how are you? How are you it means. I'm doing great. Thank you. So what was I talking about? I already forgot. You asked me about what are my thoughts on Ukraine funding. Well, I can answer this question in a YouTube-friendly fashion, but I think a lot of people won't like my answer because this country is funding a lot of things that it should not be funding. And it goes into many places in the world where it should not be. That's my opinion. These current events, the current proxy wars that are being waged by the empire, none of it should be there. None of it should be happening. The rest, draw your own conclusions. Like I said, there are things that I cannot openly discuss on this channel, or else I'll get banned. You look too energetic. How? I look too energetic? Really? Just someone asked me a question about Ukraine, and I think that the United States is waging a lot of funding, a lot of foreign wars, which it shouldn't be doing. So long as this is going to continue, this country will be gutted. Its people will be held hostage to the powers that be, who rack in super profits based off all of these conflicts worldwide. That's what I think. And why am I energetic about this? Why am I energetic now? Because my home country was subject to this relentless assault years ago. So I guess I'm getting a little energetic about this. Yes. These are things that I did not quite understand years ago, but now I can see them loud and clear in plain sight. Someone there, I don't know, whoever called me Karen, if you want to box me conveniently into some sort of political group and assume things about me based on me owning cats, you might be very wrong with your assessments. I'm not your American Karen. I'm not even from around here, and I know things. Just saying. Patrick says, there's a castle ruin from the 11th century near me where I've been going for regular walks for 45 years. It's called Slowenburg and towers above the Rhine. Gosh, that should be beautiful. I should look it up. Is it possible to look it up on Google? I mean, on Google Maps or something like that? I'm hoping that probably you can just go to Google Maps, which I do occasionally. I open Google Maps and I start just clicking around and finding places and looking at various sites. Gosh, I'd love to visit Germany. And I hope one day I will, once I move to Greece. I think I'll be able to travel all around Europe. And there is just, every bit of Europe is packed with history. Castle ruin from the 11th century. That's ancient, really. You're an artist and a philosopher, and therefore you are above politics. Patrick, thank you so much for your support, really. And yes, you get it. There was a time when I was caught up in politics. And then once I learned a few things, I started to realize that the picture is a lot larger than this. And this little small political stuff, it's really not significant and it's really not important. It doesn't explain everything. It's not a lens that you can accurately view the world through. You know what I mean? You know it. We just had this conversation in the comments section just, 2-3 days ago. So you understand me very well. You know what I'm talking about. Thank you for the likes. I got 4 likes here. That's wonderful. My husband pulled up a video last night. Well, he told me he was listening to it while he was at work. It was about Sumerians. And there were things that I already knew, but there were also things that I didn't know. And the video was about where do we actually come from? Where does the human race actually come from? And how is it so that Sumerians knew so much? Where did they get all this knowledge? And that's just so fascinating. But it ties back into the questions that I'm asking occasionally. Do you remember I had a short here on YouTube where it's from a live stream and we're having this conversation about lucid dreaming, and I sort of said that I don't quite know where do we go when we sleep? Where do we go when we see dreams? What are those places? Do you remember that discussion? And so I don't know what to think about it, because there is some overlap, which makes me wonder, there is some sort of bigger picture, and it is hidden. The level of politics and all this, it doesn't explain anything at all. The more I look into this, the more I come to realize that all of it is a distraction. It's almost like it's a deliberate distraction to keep humanity asleep, deep asleep, and caught up in these squabbles. And whatever is doing that, that's actually a real force of evil. We discussed this, Patrick, remember? About the separation of people, about the division, about the art, and the artificiality of it. Like, we're actually supposed to be working together. We're actually supposed to connect with each other as human beings, living on the same planet, sharing the same biosphere. You know what I mean? Being part of the same thing. But yet, there are all of these fractures. And something underneath that, I get a sense of that this is deliberate. And this is not just about one country or civilization, socio-political stuff. No, there is something way beyond that. It's a lot deeper. It has to do with us as a human race. And I don't want to sound kind of conspiratorial because, I like to base things on science and actually proven things. But the more you look into ancient stuff and ancient civilizations, the more questions I personally have, and the fewer answers I can actually give, I don't know what's there. I don't want to make assumptions because, I don't want to come across as loony. I have to go with the feeling, you know what I mean? And my senses, my feeling, my gut feeling, it tells me that there is something beyond that, and it's huge. Yes, people are getting bogged down in the unspeakable arguments of those who prefer to focus on what divides them rather than what unites them. Yes, very true. Another another aspect is that I think, unfortunately, quite unfortunately, there are a lot of people who want to hear only what they want to hear. They don't want to hear anything that is outside of their purview, because it will immediately shatter the carefully crafted worldview that a lot of them had for many years. And I actually think that the older we get, the more difficult it is for people to change their opinions and to see things for what they really are, because people develop habits. People build their lives and their identities around those beliefs, and then letting go of those beliefs just because there is an incoming bit of information that shatters all of this and shatters the very foundation of this belief system. That's difficult. Imagine you're like 70 years old or 80 years old and you grew up in the Cold War era and you're used to the idea that Russians are all evil. I came across a person like this, and you can't get it through to him that maybe he just might be wrong. He wouldn't even consider the possibility because it's too late, and he lost the flexibility, the mental, the intellectual flexibility, and he is intellectually coward and incapable. You know what I mean? Parts of society would prefer to live in the Middle Ages. Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's this is something that I find sad, because I think that exactly because of these kind of parts of society, who would rather live in the Middle Ages? Who would rather engage in endlessly embarking on crusades and going and killing off and wiping out all the heretics and going after all those people? Who prefer this? Because of that, this drags all of humanity back. It keeps us from evolving into a new stage, to a higher stage of consciousness. You know what I mean? That's just how it is, I think. I don't know. It's hard to talk about these things because it's huge. It's not just societal, it's civilizational. But a lot of it has to do with, it's kind of right within reach, you know what I mean? Because I think that, like I kept saying before, if every person on this planet committed to growth, to reflection, to connecting with their soul, with their spirit, with their heart, grounding themselves in reality, if each one of us did this, then it would have been impossible to manipulate us. It would have been impossible to manipulate the masses. Then a lot of these current structures, which are the societal structures, which are run by narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths, they would crumble, because people wouldn't buy this crap. You know what I mean? And you wouldn't be able to force them to live within these artificial cages constructed around them. All it takes is to become conscious. I have the feeling that parts of society would prefer to, yes, mass psychology and the monkey brain stand in the way, yes. That monkey brain. And I guess nobody is immune because, I can attest to this. I myself was, a few years ago, pretty silly. Didn't know any better. And it took me some devastating events and some pain and suffering and some trauma to come to these realizations, to be forced to dig in this direction, to seek out the truth. I had a hell of a nudge, a hell of a kick under my butt to start thinking. But, hypothetically, I'm thinking, if I was in a better place, if I wasn't so disturbed, for example, what motivation would I have had to ask uncomfortable questions? And I might have not had that motivation. You see my point? I certainly wouldn't wish on anyone, the kind of my personal suffering that I had to go through in my life. Of course not. But it begs the question, what kind of kick in the butt does each one of us need to start digging and to get serious about our lives, about our souls, about the importance and the value of our lives, about the place that each one of us occupies in the universe, on this planet, about the role and responsibility that each one of us is supposed to assume? Does everybody need a kick in the butt of sorts, or no? Or is there a different way? I don't know the answer. I'm just kind of asking questions. The monkey brain, yes. Maybe we've just not evolved yet to get there in a peaceful way. I don't know. Who knows? I see that people were clicking on, and the number of people on this live stream was changing. Some people were hopping on, and then I guess they were hopping off. I don't know, probably, maybe I'm just talking about something that a lot of people don't understand. I don't know. But that's fine. If it's probably not for everyone. Hey there, what are you talking about? I'm talking about I'm talking about the evolution of humanity. It just happened so that this is where the conversation took me. I'm talking about civilizational development, about where are we as human beings nowadays, and how do we go beyond geopolitical conflicts and political squabbles, and where do we find, how do we get back on track and align ourselves, ground ourselves in solid reality with our planet, with the universe? How do we go about it? Rishu says, does size matter? Depends on what do you mean. What are you talking about? So that's what I'm talking about. Usually, every Tuesday, I'm going on these live streams for 1 hour at 4 o'clock Eastern time, and I just talk, and I talk to people who show up on the live stream and engage in a conversation, in a casual conversation. And sometimes it goes one way, then another time it goes another way. Sometimes one is too distracted to truly live philosophy in its true sense of love for life. Yes. You're exactly on point, Patrick. No, Now, ratio, I don't watch anime. I used to watch anime, but nowadays, frankly, I just don't have time. I frankly don't have time. I'm a singer-songwriter. I am a painter. And I'm starting to work on a book. So there is only so many hours in my day, and I barely have time to assemble a jigsaw puzzle for fun. Hey, Mr. Ran, I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to see you. Thank you very much for showing up. How are you doing? Are you still in the process of moving? Okay, another moderator just handled this. Great. I'm starting a read through of House of Leaves. House of Leaves. I don't know what it is, but that's good. Tala, can you simply elaborate simply what you write in description? Can you simply elaborate simply what you write in description? What do you write in description? What do you mean? What did I write in the description to this live stream? Frankly, I don't remember right now, but probably that it's a Tuesday stream, a Tuesday live or something like this. Take a look at her blog. She's an amazing author. Thank you very much. What is the transdisciplinary musical? Okay, this is what you mean. Okay, so primarily I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm a musician, but I'm also a painter, and I'm also nowadays writing a book. And currently I'm working on a huge project called Sun City, which evolves through painting in a series of paintings. And I'm working on a music album with the same story. And I'm expanding this story into a book. And you can start reading articles about this story on my WordPress site. If you go to my community tab and you scroll down, you will see the latest post, and you can just go to my WordPress and read what's actually unfolding there. So for lack of better terminology, I was forced to kind of call it transdisciplinary music blending because, what else is it? I used to be mostly just a musician, a singer-songwriter, and I used to be mostly releasing music. Nowadays, I'm also an oil painter, so I blend that together. Now it's kind of a one thing going on. And now I'm also writing a book so that it also comes all together, and I'm working simultaneously in all of these directions. This sounds so cool. I will read definitely. Thank you very much, Tala. Talha, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but thank you very much for asking. Actually, I appreciate this and giving me the opportunity to explain myself. Okay, Mr. Ren, I got to say, I really appreciate it. Hey, how is your move going on? Yes, I'm still in the process, probably going to somewhere else here in Pennsylvania. I reconnected with some other family as well. Wonderful. I wish you to weather all of this and, the stress of what's going on. And like I like to say, take your time and allow yourself some rest, allow yourself some sleep. Please, sleep is so important. Definitely interested in the book you're working on. I need to read more. I'll be working on an article today, which will drop on Wednesday. I hope I'll be in time to write this. The articles that I currently have on my WordPress, they are, how do I say this? They're kind of like an excerpt from the story, but the story is going to be much bigger. There's going to be a lot of angles to it. And Anamira, the main protagonist, the woman, she's not going to be the only character. There are going to be two men and there are going to be major arcs dedicated to them. And so the articles that you have on my WordPress, they are sort of like, they're like a keyhole, and they allow you to peep into this world and see what will be coming. You know what I mean? Excuse me. Actually came out to family, and they know. They've been far more supportive than some of the more oppressive individuals who are choosing to block it out. Congratulations. Congratulations. This is very important. And I'm very happy for you. I can't understate the importance of, when your actual family accepts you this way. This is fantastical. Talha says, Catherine, how you even be able to find a way to blend music and art? Now I'm interested in your personality. How do I find a way to do this? Well, I've always been an artist since I was a kid, and that's probably a common story. A lot of people can say, hey, when I was a little kid, I was drawing, or I was singing songs and this kind of thing. But it was just a natural part of my being, going way back. And I always wanted to put things together. So the lyrics in my songs, they're not just lyrics. I think of them rather as poems. But poetry is not enough. I also wanted to bring it to my canvas and to try it in oils. I was looking for a good medium. I was working previously mostly in watercolors and in ink, pen, this kind of stuff. But in 2023, I finally discovered oil paint, and I just went all in. And I think this is really my medium. I feel it so well, and I love it so much. And it starts to kind of coalesce and come together. And the way I feel about it is that, excuse me, oil paint allows me to sing through color and shape and texture. And then as a singer and as a musician, I rather paint music. I don't strictly think of music as of just notes and scales. Certainly, I have the education. I have a master's degree in music. I've studied all of this. I know music theory. I taught this. But it goes beyond this. The way I think about music, I think of it in more cinematic terms. I think of it as a huge canvas when I'm working on a piece, I'm working on a song, I'm thinking of texture and colors and what key has what color and how does this melody flow. And I draw parallels to brush strokes, so to me, music and painting and poetry and word and the flow of words and rhymes and metaphors, they're not really separate things. They're not separate mediums. They're not separate forms of art. They are rather one thing, one flow, one energy. And then because I'm limited, because I'm human and I have limited tools, then I end up trying to express it to the best of my ability, through whatever mediums are available to me. And sometimes I feel that I've succeeded mostly. And sometimes I feel that this given medium, that is song, for example, is not enough, that I actually need to expand it. I need to write a book about what's going on, because the story has just so much more there, and the same goes for paintings. Sometimes a painting can say things that music can't convey, or music will convey differently because it's a different language. It appeals to different senses. You know what I mean? It's beautiful. Painting is actually beautiful, yes. Even better, my hair is actually, no. Let me go back and catch up with the comments. Even better, my hair is actually starting to grow back. If you can believe it, that's wonderful. The anti-androgens have been incredible. Yay! I might finally work on that game I've wanted to make too. Please work on it. This beautiful painting is actually beautiful. Thank you, Talha. You could really lose yourself in the art industry because you think too much and are capable of too much. Patrick, thank you. Well, I think, let me read the rest of the comments and then I'll comment on this. You do meditation because, as I am thinking, you need some extra cognitive capability, be in a state to do what you are doing. All art can be a collage for all the senses. Now, I will answer both questions because, well, not to both comments. They're not questions really, because they kind of go to the same root. And this is what I love: communication through symbols and leaving things up to interpretation. It's one of my favorite ways of telling a story. That's one of the things that intrigued me about House of Leaves. I know what you mean. So, answering the question, throughout my life, I had this underlying feeling which manifests itself in my dreams. And I said this on previous live streams. I'm the kind of person who sees dreams and dreams vividly every time I sleep. So I'm aware of that there is an underlying reality to my subjective experience living in this world. At least I feel that reality is multi-layered. It's not just flat. It's not just in the realm of the awake state, in the realm of literal physical sensations. There is a lot more to it. When you mention meditation, I think I treat the in-between state between being asleep and awake. I like to reside in that, and I meditate there in that state. It's actually a little trick that I'm using, and you can look it up. There is an actual scientific term for it. It's called, let me remember, paragogic state, I believe. Paragogic state. The paragogic state is the state of mind between dreaming, between when you're asleep and you're awake. And if you're able to control this realm, then you unlock an extra dimension within your mind, within your brain. Your brain literally goes into a special state where it is capable, it is more pliable, and it allows for extra insight. It allows you to learn a lot more rapidly. It allows you to assess distant memories and to think very clearly. Go to your project in the comment section a time ago. Go for it. Get enamored by House of Leaves, then. Wish I could have some tea with you. I wish too. I'd love to have some tea with you. I drink tea occasionally with lemon or without lemon. So, no, Patrick also said before that, Patrick said about that I could lose myself in the creative industries, or how did you say this? I don't remember. Leaving things up to interpretation, yes. All art can be a collage. Yes, you could really lose yourself in the art industry because you think too much and are capable of too much. You know, excuse me. Let me put it this way. It's not that I necessarily am, it's not that I am all crazed about thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking. It's more that I feel a lot. And I don't even question the existence of certain things, like I just explained about reality, the multi-layered nature of reality. That to me is just a fact. But there are things that bothered me since I was very little because I was going into these different layers of reality. I still remember my first dreams from when I was a little kid, and it still bugs me. How did I see things in my dreams of which I could not be aware because I was too little to know? I feel, and then these feelings or these dreams, they pose a lot of questions and they force me to think. And I know it sounds kind of lame, but I don't really feel that I ever had a choice. I always had to create something, and it was going on for the longest time since, I remember myself. I always had to get things out of my head. I needed to paint or draw or sing or make melodies or do something. And that to me was natural. And believe it or not, for the longest time, I believed that everybody's like this and everybody sees dreams. Everybody experiences life very vividly, very intensely, And so then when I started to realize that that's not the case, that there are some people who experience it this way, but then there are others who don't, that's when I also started, as I was growing up, and especially in the recent years, this is when I started to rationalize, I guess, and try to understand things through different lenses. And a few years ago, my perception was more primitive because there were a lot of things in the world, happening today and historically of which I wasn't aware. But then the more I knew, the more I learned, the deeper I dug into history and learning about different cultures and different philosophical concepts. And these things I started to sort of I started to see glimpses of a bigger picture. And I still can't articulate this. I don't even know how to articulate this. And is it even necessary to try to put it into words on a YouTube live stream? Or maybe I would be better off actually just writing my music and writing my book and painting my paintings. And there are things that are so difficult to explain. I don't even know how to approach it. You know what I mean? But somehow I know them deep down. It's just like I'm stuck in this lifelong cycle of trying to explain things that to me are real. And I got a glimpse of them early on. And now I have to just, learn another language, or what does that thing mean? And how do you explain this? And what is that? And what is that? You know what I mean? And that all of this forces me to think all the time, and also to, to talk about this. And sometimes I feel that words are very limiting. I, however, don't think that I would lose myself in the art industry. I know that this is a complex and huge thing. I've been in and out of the showbiz industry because I worked in it anyways. I haven't been really connected to the fashion industry. The art industry, I've been again in and out, sort of. I don't know. I think that if a person has, and it's beyond identity. It's not just about that, oh, I have this identity of an artist. No, it's not that. I didn't pick to be this. It's sort of a core that burns, in my case, and I don't think that can be dissolved. So I think, despite how crazy the art industry is, the art industry, the writer's industry, the book industry, the music industry, the entertainment industry, regardless of all of that, I don't think that I would lose myself, at least me personally. I could definitely lose my mind there, just going through the logistics of all of it and just be sort of overwhelmed with the intensity and just, how many people are there and all of this. It can be very overwhelming, sure. But to lose the self in that, no, I don't think that would have happened, really. About meditation, like I said, I have my own sort of type of meditation. I don't know if anybody else practices this. I've been doing this again since I was very little. I was deliberately balancing on that verge of sleep and awake state, and it was my kind of my little secret when I was a kid. Let me scroll down to other comments. Wish I could have some tea with you. Yes, guys, I wish I could sit down with all of you and bring something nice, pour some tea for all of us, and sit and have a real conversation, face to face with all of y'all's people, and then we could, shake hands for real. And I could feel you, and you could tell me your life stories, and I miss this, having the experience of actually, hey, I was teaching people vocals and music theory for about 10 years. Every day for 10 years, I was face to face to multiple people. There is nothing that can beat this experience. If any of you worked with people face to face, you know what I'm talking about. Nothing can beat this. And sometimes you get really close with people, and you can, like I did oftentimes with my students, sometimes there is just not the right mood for a lesson, and I go with my student to the kitchen, and we have a cup of tea, and we have something for tea, and we just talk through this, because while I was teaching vocals, I oftentimes had to deal with what's in the people's heads, because the voice is a continuation of the mind, and the mind is the continuation of the heart and soul. So you can't separate the things, and you can't be just teaching technique and vocal approach and breath and all of this, and dismissing simultaneously how the mind gets in the way of singing. You know what I mean? So oftentimes I had to deal with students when I knew that it's not a good time for them to sing, because they just can't. They're doing everything wrong. And the problem is not that that their vocal cords are wrong or their breathing is off. It's just that the mind needs to speak. And so we would go and we would sit down and we would have some tea, and I would have to put on my therapist hat and hear them out and talk to them and try to understand them and try to provide them with solutions that would work here first. So that would unblock their voice and allow them to sing. You know what I mean? But tea, that's a wonderful idea. I wish I could just organize this easily. The view of being in different layers is our common ground. Yep, Patrick, again, you understand me. You know what I'm talking about. How socially active are you, Catherine, if you don't mind to tell us? Well, I'm living in rural Kentucky, so I'm not really socially active, and I miss the big city. I lived 40 years of my life, which is like the vast majority of my life. I lived in a big city, and I've seen people and interacted with people every day of my life. Nowadays, I'm living in rural Kentucky. I don't have this sort of experience, so I had to go inward. And I intend to move again. And this time, when I move, I will try to land somewhere closer to a large city so that I can actually put my talents to use and thrive as an artist. Excuse me. So that's just how it is nowadays. I didn't mean overthinking, but rather seeing a lot and thinking deeply in the process. I see what you mean. And I sort of understood it this way, yes. Reality is such a weird thing. It seemingly makes no sense and yet serves no purpose. I truly think our purpose is creation, mainly art. I think so too. I see Mr. N, I see you've moderated something there. Someone said hi. Oh, God, I'm trying to click the comments and I just clicked something wrong. Oh, yeah, right. Spam. Okay. Now, my English still often comes across as wooden shoes on the ice. Wooden shoes on the ice. I love this expression. Is this a German expression? Actually, probably a, gosh, what do you call it? An idiom, right? Yeah, Mr. N, thank you very much for moderating. Thank you. Talha says, you just don't need to stress out to explain. We're hopefully getting what actually you're trying to explain. Thank you. I'm just habitually trying to be, maybe it's just that 10-year habit of being a teacher. It's not that I aspire to become a teacher, but I kind of, that's how my life was. And so I got used to maybe over-explaining things a little bit. And guys, thank you very much. I have to say this. I really appreciated that you people had shown up on my live stream and you're asking me these questions and you're actually listening. Because, there is a ton of distractions every day. And the probability of people online stopping by a live stream and having a real conversation about really important stuff and hearing out another person whom I'm not your family, I'm not your close buddy, I'm not your childhood friend, and you're sitting there and you're listening to me. I have to say that I value and appreciate this tremendously. People are distracted by so many things online today. And so there is just tremendous value in this. And that's why I'm saying thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Mr. Ren, I'd love to sit and have some tea with you too. I'm in South Central Pennsylvania, though, lol. And I'm in Kentucky. I'm in Montgomery County. If you're passing through Kentucky, just tell me, stop by, let's have some tea. I'll be happy to see you while I'm still in America, because I don't know when am I going to leave, and I don't know how soon is that going to happen. Your love life would also be more interesting. Your love life would also be more interesting. Though, probably you mean. Well, I can't argue with this. No idiom, but wooden shoes are common in the Netherlands nearby. I like to speak in images. I like the metaphor. And yeah, wooden shoes. Sabot, they're called in French, right? Tala, listening is astonishingly good skill and habit. Yes, it is. It is, and I think it's a difficult skill, and more people need to learn this skill to actually listen. Myself included. I remember a time when I was not very attentive, really, when I should have been. Mr. N says, likewise, if you come through Pennsylvania, let me know, lol. Gosh, I was in Pennsylvania. I was to Pittsburgh in the year 2019, in December, because I have an acquaintance there, an Irish lady, a singer-songwriter who lives in Pittsburgh, and she invited me and my husband to come visit for Christmas. And so we visited her and her family there. But that was in 2019. I didn't know that there was a certain Mr. N who lives in Pennsylvania. I'm always happy when someone has a similar view of the world and reality and thinks similarly, especially the striving to think on all artistic levels. It's good to click with your people. That's how I feel about it. And I'm very thankful and very grateful for having all of you people here and being able to have these conversations. All the people who just don't belong, or people who just don't understand, or they're not supposed to understand yet, perhaps, maybe they just bounce off. They show up, they spam something, and then they're done. And that's okay, that's fine. And that's why I'm usually saying, if you're not subscribed to my channel, check out my channel. If you really resonate with what I'm doing, then subscribe. But if you don't feel it, don't subscribe. It's not about numbers, really. It's not that I'm just trying to rack up numbers. That's pointless. I'm looking for my people who are on that same wavelength, if you will. May I click with your words and perspective, even though English is my second language? If I didn't know English, how would I even connect with you? Hey, and I'm originally Russian. English is also not my native tongue. And it's pretty amazing how things work, right? You learn a language, and then here I am speaking my second language online all of these years later, and there is Talha, 27, someone, and English is not your native tongue either, and you're able to hear the message. Life is so amazing, isn't it? Right? I'm going to roll out for now. You all have a good one. Always great to talk to you all. Guys, yes, I'm actually going to also wrap up this live stream. It's been almost an hour. I have to go. See you later, Mr. N. Wishing you good luck and sending good vibes your way. Have a nice day. Yes, have a nice day, Mr. N. I think I should be wrapping this up as well. So see you all. Goodbye. Goodbye to you, Talha. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for the conversation. Patrick, I appreciate you so much, and thank you for showing up. Next, and thank you for subscribing. Yes, I'm going to bake Corellian pasties in the new weeks with egg butter. I'll serve them with the tea. Wonderful. I will join. Okay, next week, Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be here again. So I'll be very happy to see you all again, guys. I love you all. Thank you very much. And until next week, ciao.